Hey everybody, it's Cheryl and welcome back to Technique of the Week. It's week 28 and this week we're going to talk about custom rust dyeing. Now you may have heard of rust dyeing before, and that's where you take fabric and it's usually prepared for dyeing fabric, PFD fabric, but you would take that fabric and you would wrap it around a rusty object, spray it with some vinegar, and then the rust would transfer to the cloth and it would stain and dye the cloth, usually a bunch of brown colors. And in this particular case, I'm going to be working with a product that I found because my husband was using it for one of his purposes, and I wanted to try this rust dyeing idea, but we didn't have anything rusty, and that's when he introduced me to this product called Quick Rust. Now this stuff is pretty, readily available in your crafting store, and it's made for those sort of country, sort of rusted looked, the crafting type projects. Well, this stuff is so thin you can actually cut it with a pair of utility scissors, so it's really easy to use. In this particular case, what you would do is you would cut out your design and then you rust it with using apple cider vinegar, and trust me, this stuff rusts pretty quickly. I don't think it was more than 24 hours later and it was completely rusted. So here's what I ended up doing, right? I cut out two gear shapes. Now I will say that these little intricate shapes were really tricky to do, even with a pair of scissors and X-Acto blades and whatever else I did to cut all these little sections out. And they rusted really quickly, and they also transferred really well to the fabric that I was using, and you can see all the little spots and everything. It's actually really cool stuff. The trick is this stuff was really, really difficult to quilt, and I mean really difficult to quilt. I broke several needles doing this, trying to actually penetrate this rusted fabric. So it's the time to get out, all the super sharps and the titanium needles and all that other fun stuff, and really to give this one a go if you're actually going to quilt through the rusted areas. So anyway, stuff is pretty easy to find. Rusted items are also easy to find. You could try it with that as well, but this way you could actually cut out your own shape and rust it in the shape that you want. So if you want a heart, you can cut out a heart, and you can rust a shape of that onto your fabric. So it was really neat. Anyway, give this one a try. It's just one more technique in your arsenal. So be sure to follow along on my blog at www.muppin.com. You can also subscribe to this channel and get a copy of the 52 Technique of the Week episodes every week in your newsfeed. And you can also go to my website and get a list, a checklist, a handy dandy checklist. You can get all of that on my website, and you can follow along with us every single week. So be sure to give this one a try, and I will see you again next week.